Who else has tried FabFitFun?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you have.
After we did the last one, I ordered one.
Hell yeah, you did. And guess what we get to do now? We get to match. If you guys don't already know about it, it's a seasonal box with full-size beauty, fitness, and lifestyle products. It retails for $49.99, but always has a value over $200. And now that Melissa has officially ordered it, we now both have matching robes from Show Me Your Moo. Definitely my favorite product in the box.
Me too.
We look real cute. We should take pictures.
Yeah.
So check out fabfitfun.com and use the code BLAME10 so you can save $10 off your first box, making it only $39.99. Again, that's fabfitfun.com and use the code BLAME10. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, our fantastic guest, who, by the way, love the shirt.
Thank you.
So cute.
On sale at Forever 21.
Oh, I love a sale.
Like $3.
Also, this is actually throwback. This is very similar to an outfit I think I wore last time we recorded. I did a half up with a scrunchie, and I wore very similar pants too. Oh, we could have been matching.
Yeah,
we should have synced it
gotten
up.
the memo.
Yeah, I should have figured out what the fuck I was wearing until I dressed like Cameron Diaz in The Holiday in February. I'm like, cool. Awesome. Guys, this is Alison Stevenson. You are from the Single podcast.
Yep.
And from other things like your life and existence.
Yeah, you know,
and all of that.
A few things here and there, yeah.
I'm very excited to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I can't wait. We're going to get into some advice. Melissa's also here as always.
Hey.
Rocking her red blazer.
Hi.
And your fancy heels.
Ho. I know, but nobody can see the heels.
Should we also address, I mean, they can kind of see we're in a slightly different place.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think for you, it looks the exact same, but for me, it looks different.
But no, but I'm looking at your camera. You look different.
Oh, okay.
So we're in like a slightly different.
Yeah. But like if they're just looking at the main camera, it looks the exact same.
No way. Wow. Good job at scamming, guys. I did nothing. I just sat here. People moved furniture. We're in a different room, but no one cares. Except now I have so many new things to look at. Except I am convinced I'm going to keep looking this way to look at you.
Yeah. I'm in a different spot than where you usually are.
She is. Well, guys, if you are new here, this is an advice podcast. You guys leave us voicemails and we listen to them and then we give advice. And if you want to be on an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Oh my God, I actually had a dream that I went to jail and had to call the number.
You're having weird ass dreams, dude.
I have the worst. This is why I can't watch horror movies, because I just will dream of like, also the reason why I had told Melissa I had this other weird dream about how like I had to give her she made me give her my login info for my gynecologist. But I also realized that's because I wrote down the password of what it was, the same place I wrote down the password of the podcast. So you have the podcast Instagram.
Oh.
So then I was like, now it's all making sense. I get like I just have dreams about like my real life. It's really terrible, except the going to jail
And
part.
you remember them?
I only have bad dreams, only nightmares. Those are the only ones I remember. That's it. I
never have nightmares.
I know, my boyfriend's like, no, you like smile in your sleep and sometimes you laugh. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck do I remember?
That means you're
those?
freaking psycho, or you're psycho, and
true.
you're laughing at the bad things.
Like
no,
the pain.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like, seeking revenge. I don't even have like satisfying revenge dreams. Like in my dreams, like I can spend the whole day like plotting revenge against someone I hate, and then the dream I will have is like that person doing those things to me. Like I never win in my dreams. I also die in so many of my dreams, which is apparently bad.
I think it might be like one of those, like, because I get a lot of those my teeth are falling out dreams.
Oh, whoa.
And
that's like a genre of dream. Wait,
I get them all the time.
Terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's always like, but it's always so casual. Like it's always like I'm just like walking and like
God.
Suddenly I'm like, what is that?
That's
weird.
tooth?
My tooth's out or whatever.
Wait, that's so crazy.
But they say like in the dream interpretation world that's just like a sign of stress.
Wow.
Like it's related to stress.
Wow. Is it because like, no, it's like your hair's falling out. Cool, stressful. Let's make it dream. Like let's raise the stakes. This is a dream. It's like, your teeth.
It's literally like my teeth will just crack and fall out like in a lot of my dreams.
Wow. Yeah. That's fucking insane. Wow.
But it's like a thing.
Okay.
So the one where you
die,
it might be like, maybe you just need like a new gynecologist or something.
Right.
No, this is the new one.
This is my only one. This is the first one I've ever had at 25.
So maybe it'll stop. Maybe now that you have a new gynecologist.
Maybe. Who knows?
Just trying to make some connections.
I don't know. I like that idea, but I don't remember any happy dreams as a kid either. I watched Peter Pan and then I had a dream about Peter Pan, but like I like rode in like a train through the sky and then I fell and then a wolf bit off my finger and then it was hollow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that one stuck with me.
Wow.
Also, like, did not understand anatomy as a kid. I was like, it's hollow. Like,
That's what happens
there.
when you lose a...
Yeah. Bones, what are those? Organs, all that tissue? Nope, none of it. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop blabbing about my dreams and let's get into it.
Hi, Megan. I'm currently a sophomore in college and I am 20 years old. I was just calling to discuss, I guess, mine and my boyfriend's relationship. Basically, I read his text messages and I saw him talking to his friend, and he said that he loved me and he loved everything about me and could definitely see me being a mom, the mother of his children. But the only concern for him was that he said the sex was bad. In the messages, he was talking, like, referring, like, I guess comparing me to his ex-girlfriends and how it was just different and better with them. And he was saying that I just didn't know how to ride properly. And I mean, this has never been a problem for any of my past sexual partners. And I just don't know how to confront the situation. Do I tell him I like read his text messages? Do I just kind of let it be? Do I practice? Like, I just don't know what to do. So if you can help me out with that, I would appreciate it. Also, just a little bit more background information. Me and my boyfriend have been together a couple months, probably about 3. We spend, all the time together. He basically lives with me, and I feel like we get along well on everything else. We just click together, and I love him to death.
What?
But it's just that problem with, I guess, he's not enjoying sex. Even though I asked him about it, he's not upfront with me personally about it. He says he enjoys it. So, I don't know. Thank you.
First things first, everything's not okay because you read his text messages.
Yeah. I mean, that's number one, right? Yeah.
Why? That's what you have to figure. I mean, like, as somebody who's read text messages, I knew what I was looking for and I found what I was looking for.
Right.
Like,
It's a sign.
3 months in, especially, like, you don't read them. Like, also, we're so blasé about it, which is maybe because I've said before that I have read text messages of people that I've dated.
But you've also said you don't read text messages unless you're going to look for something.
No,
and you know you're
100%.
going to find
and
it.
I always find it. I've never once
It's
looked.
instinctual.
Yeah. And so I think that as much as you're saying, I don't know if that's the reason why you were looking or if there's like another underlying reason that you're like, you thought something was up. Or is it that like you say that you're like, no, he says the sex is great. Or did you think that like it wasn't and so you were seeing the messages?
My guess is that she felt something was fishy.
Yeah.
Like maybe she felt, maybe not straight up cheating, but there's just something in the connection that's off, and she felt inclined to look through messages, see what she could find, to solve that. But then that's just a bigger sign of like there's problems with communication here that need to be fixed if you want to stay a couple, I think.
I think 3 months, 3 months, like, I'm sure there are people who like can be in love at 3 months. I'm sure that's happened. I think I would say like almost like you guys are moving so fast. Like talking about marriage, like he's telling his friends, like I could see her being the mother of my kids. Like,
and they're 20 years old.
Yeah.
On top of that.
That's the part that's like crazy because he's almost living with me. We're like totally head over heels in love. Like that to me is such like a fast pace kind of thing that I think you are kind of this is like the looking at text messages this early on, even if there's nothing like inherently like wrong that you're like specifically searching for. I think it's just like you guys are kind of at like a 2-year mark at like 3 months.
Right.
And I think I think a lot of relationships, like they burn bright really fast and they fizzle out. Like I am like a serial 4-month, 3-month dater. And then I'm like, I hate you now. I am done. I don't know what happened last night, but I'm over it once I woke up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think in general, I think it's a little like weird that he texted his friends about that. I think
that is an odd conversation to have with a friend too.
Over text.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that like at least like if any of like my friends and I have had conversations, like we'll gossip like over text messages, very casual, like gossip about people that we like have been on a date with, but none of us gossip about our significant others or talk like that via text.
Right.
Because like we spend all of our time together. Like there is the chance that they could read this and like you don't want to misconstrue anything. You do it in person.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He
Because
wanted her to see
obviously,
it?
I think he wanted her to see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Obviously, I think there's like a weird thing where they're embarrassed to talk about it.
Yeah.
So maybe he kind of planted it in a way where he was like, I'm going to have this conversation with my friend and I have a feeling she's going to look through my phone. And that's how I'm going to let her know without flat out like telling her to her face that I wish the sex was better.
This is some bad passive aggressive.
Well,
It's very passive
I
aggressive.
100% think it's that, because I don't think that in the two things are totally unrelated of being like, I think she'd be the mother of my children. She's not as great in bed. Like, that's kind of a thing. Like, that's not like, not to be like sex. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even say that to one of my friends about my partner.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the part of I'm like, it's cushioning it and saying something nice that she definitely wants to hear.
Yes.
And then saying the other stuff. Like, I think if he didn't want you to see it, he wouldn't have. And then maybe she has a passcode to his phone, and that's why she's so casual about like, oh yeah, I read his text messages. Maybe he was like, you feel free to read my text anytime. Like, I'm totally an open book.
Yeah,
and
I wonder
knowing
about that.
because maybe that's why you were so casual.
What if he was being like an asshole and was like, oh, she like I could see her being the mom of my kids, but like she's not good at sex.
Oh yeah, well that also that is true. But
tone is everything. You just made it totally different.
But that's true though. And then that brings up like if you called us in and you're describing it with rose-colored glasses, that's how I'm gonna like. Is that like I guess you have to figure that out. Like, was this like what was it a malicious thing? Like if you think about it, like if you have talked to your friends and showed your girlfriends, like, or they showed you, if they vice versa, anything like that, like how are they reacting? Like that kind of thing, like people who know him too and can see that. Or did you call and tell us because you can kind of like paint it a little better? Where it's like a little bit more romantic and like not as bad, because I think you're right. Like I think if someone just told me like it and I saw it, I'd probably be like, wow, it's fucked up. Like,
yeah, I think it depends on if it was intentional or not.
Yeah.
If he wanted her to see it, then maybe it wasn't like him trying to be a dick, but if he like never intended her to see it.
I think 100% you just tell him that you looked and you saw it.
Yeah.
I've also never looked through a phone of someone and then not told them. Like I've always been like, hey, so I did something shitty. I looked through your phone, but guess what? Who was shittier? You. That's what I found. So like,
as long as there's someone shittier,
because also like my whole thing is like honesty. So like if I'm gonna look through your phone, I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm gonna tell you like this is what I found. Exactly.
I can get behind that actually.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to like say that and admit that to him. And I think like it's an awkward, terrible conversation. But if like you're 3 months in, you're almost living together, you say that you love each other, like you want to be with him, he's the love of your life, like you're going to have more uncomfortable and awkward conversations post this. And I think, I think it's also just the line, like she doesn't know how to ride me. Well, like
that was
what?
very,
that's like very like 17-year-old boy word.
Yeah. Well, they're
style.
20, so
yeah.
I don't know, but to me that just sounds like a lazy fucking dude. You know?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't know how to ride me. Like, well, you just want, what?
He likes the girl on top. Don't shame
No,
him.
not at all.
That's great. That's
not
fine.
only that, but like in like a way of being like you're not enjoying yourself and you're not like in the moment. That's what I mean. That like you're just gonna lay there and be unhappy. That's what I don't get.
You're true. That's true.
Like, I just think that that's like a weak guy move of not, because like, I think like in general, people should be like more expressive about like what they want in bed. But like you're 3 months in and you're not enjoying it and like you're going to complain to your friends and then lie to her. To me, that just also sounds like he doesn't want, do you want it to get better or no?
Yeah. That's what's odd to me too, is that she like says she brings it up with him.
Yeah.
And he just acts like it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But clearly it is.
That's fucking weird.
It is odd.
It is fucking weird.
It is fucking weird.
Literally fucking weird. Yeah.
Next time you're on top, maybe take his hands and be like, show me what you like or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sex him and say
Yeah.
something like sexy and be like what do you want me to do to you? What do you want to do to me? Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I wonder what her experience is. If she's enjoying the sex or not.
Yeah.
And you know,
And I also
only care about him.
Yeah.
Give yourself some appreciation
totally. And maybe he's just like, yeah, exactly. Like, are you having a good time? Is this like, are you getting off? Or is this?
It seems like both of them are kind of not expressing fully what they want out of each other. And maybe both having not great sex lives.
Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun at all.
Fun.
And also, I will say, I mean, yes, he might have wanted you to purposefully see it in general. But then I say this from being friends with like a lot of straight guys, and even my boyfriend saying this, where it's like I hate the term locker room talk now, but like that idea of like guys like talking about like girls that they get with and stuff. Even like my boyfriend, all of my guy friends have said like, oh, it's not, you never get super, super, super descriptive of stuff like that. And it completely stops when it's your girlfriend. Like you don't talk like that with like, I don't know the sex lives like with my like friends who've been dating people for months at a time. Yeah. I know the first time they hooked up, I heard about it, but like they've been dating for like what, 6 months, a year, 3 months. Like I don't hear about that aspect. Like,
yeah. No one cares anymore.
No, exactly. And like that part's a little weird that he would talk to his friend. Like it just to me doesn't seem like a great sign of like, I'm going to text my friend and talk about like my sex life with my girlfriend as opposed to talking to her about it. To me, that doesn't seem like he's...
It's a very 20-year-old thing to do. It's very immature. It's immature as no offense to...
I mean, to 20-year-olds. Like, offense to him. Sure.
No offense to him, but I'm sure there are very mature 20-year-olds out there.
I was not one of them.
Yeah, I was definitely not. But I mean, honestly, like, at 20 years old, it's like, you don't have to stay together. Like,
no,
you can
not
just
at all.
be done with each other. It's not a big deal.
And like, bring it up, try. If it doesn't get better, I think it's also going to get in your head, like when you're having sex with him now. And that's not fun for you either. So I think if you guys can't have like a real honest communication talk about it and be honest and upfront and tell him like, I read these messages, like this really hurts that like I've tried to talk to you about this before and you keep saying it's fine and like I really want us to both enjoy this. And then if he reassures you that it's fine and you know that it's not, then like I think you need to like be with somebody who's going to be more upfront with you.
Exactly.
It's only going to you're only going to have more complicated things in your life to deal with together.
Yeah.
And if he can't even be honest with like that,
I mean, if they get married, you know,
like what?
It's like, it's only going to get worse.
Only going to get way fucking worse. So talk to him and then give us a call back. Let us know what happens. On to the next.
Hi, Meghan. I'm 27 years old and I would love to hear your opinion on my situation. I just broke up with my boyfriend. We were together for 4 years. We started talking about getting married, really loved each other. But I decided to take a break from this relationship because I had some doubts and I needed to clear my head because basically there's this other guy that I met at summer camp 10 years ago. We dated at summer camp, and then when summer was over, because we were living so far apart, we decided to stop. But ever since, we have continued to talk, and I really love our conversations. He's the smartest person that I've ever met, and I really feel like life would be so interesting with him. But the reason why we never got back together after that is that even if at some point we were in the same city, timing was never right. So either he was in a relationship or I was. And then I guess the second thing is that I'm not exactly sexually attracted to him. I am so attracted to his brain, but I'm not exactly attracted to his body for some reason. And going back to my ex, it's the exact opposite. I am really attracted to him, and when he's around, I really want to touch him, and I love the way he smells. And so I'm now at this point where I have the opportunity to either get back with my ex or try something with that guy. And my question is, how do you choose between, I guess, intellectual compatibility and sexual compatibility? How do you know which one's going to make you happier in the long run? Because I don't want to make like the wrong decision about this.
Oh,
wow.
Polyamory.
That's like a movie right there.
I know her accent is also so beautiful, which made it very much like
this
a
is
movie.
like a French film from the 70s.
With Camp too. Where's she from?
I don't know.
Oh, that you have a sexy ass
French.
fucking voice. Yeah, I assumed French too. Makes it sexier.
Yeah.
Everything she has is just like a sexy version of it, like a sexy problem on like a sexy Saturday.
It's like, oh, how do I choose between all these guys who want to have sex with me?
Sorry, we're just really. I feel like we're harassing you at this point. I mean, honestly, my gut reaction is kind of like maybe neither of these guys are your thing. Like
that's I was hoping you would say that. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think you need to. You wouldn't choose. Because also I would say I think there's a difference between like automatic like lust for somebody when you're really attracted to them right off the bat, and that can kind of like fade, and then or not even that. So the lust or that attraction you have to somebody right off the bat, and then from there, like compatibility. We realize there's so many things that are so much more important to that, which is like the reason why you guys broke up was the fact that like you were like, I don't see us connecting on all these other levels and stuff. And then there are people who like they aren't automatically your type and you're not like attracted to them right off the bat, but then you get to like know them and their personality, and then because how much you love their personality and who they are, they become more attractive to you.
Exactly.
And I think if that's not happening, and it hasn't happened after all this time, if you guys aren't in the same city and you're not seeing him, there's no way you can be. I mean, I don't think there's like, unless you're like really like talking dirty, there's not a lot of like sexual like tension.
It can't grow. Yeah.
But I think if it's you have spent time in person and it's still not there, I think you just like, it's a really great friend and a really good person, but like I don't think you would. I don't think you need to choose that.
Yeah. I mean, when I was first listening to it at first, I thought maybe this was some sort of self-destructive behavior.
Yeah.
Like kind of wanting to end a relationship that looks promising. But then near the end, when she was talking about how, well, actually, he never had that sort of mental stimulation that I was looking for, that's when I started going like, all right, I think neither of these guys are the one that she needs. It's like, there are so many more options.
Exactly. And I think just because you dated somebody who wasn't like, I think we can really get in this like this guy didn't have this, but this other guy has it, so therefore that means he must be it. And it's like, no, like he has a character trait and he has like a brain and he's very smart and he has a quality, that the one quality that your other boyfriend didn't have, but that doesn't mean that he's the only guy in the world with those qualities. And so I think that maybe you can just treat it also as, this was a really great vehicle and way for me to know that this is something I really care about in a relationship, and I really want this. And maybe that's the reason why you've been holding on to this for so long, is that you needed to then become aware and realize that this is something that you're attracted to, but you're not necessarily like, it's not him. It's the fact that he has that. And that inspired you to like break up with your boyfriend and realize that like you guys aren't compatible. But I'm gonna bet neither of them.
Yeah, I think you can find someone who ticks both of the boxes and problem solved. I mean, it'll take a longer time. You got two options now that's easier and faster. Yeah. But ultimately, it seems like you're not going to be satisfied with either one.
Yeah. I also think as much as like, timing, and it's been like 10 years and all of this stuff, like it wasn't great and all that. I had one of those things with this guy where it was like constant, like, oh my God, like, no, you're with somebody, no, I'm with somebody. And it was like a will they, won't they thing. And we never really talked about it, but we both knew. And then we finally were single at the same time. We went on one date and it was fucking terrible. Right. And I built it all up in my head. Thing. And it was like, oh shit, like why have I been like leaving you on the back burner for so long? Right. Also, if we were really meant to be, there's no fucking way we would have been able to go all of these years without ever like, you know,
and being with other people too.
Exactly. Like if that's your person that you're supposed to be with, like you're not going to be able to have like long lasting relationships with other people because you're thinking about somebody else, but not clearly only when you're lacking something in another one. So
yeah. It's an interesting, because something I would battle a lot in my dating life is like having these things that are like must-haves in a guy, like he has to be like this, and then wondering when I meet someone who I really, really click with, but they don't have a lot of those like must-haves that I felt like I needed in a man, I would get scared. I'd be like, wait, is this me settling? Or like what is this? And I think over time you realize like a lot of the things that you think are like must-haves that are like deal breakers aren't really deal breakers. They're really just things that you kind of put a wall up for yourself, and you say like, it's a way to dismiss a lot of guys. Yeah. But there are those like key things. Like now I boil it down to like kindness overall, or like, you know, things that I care about, like physical, like touch and things like that. I have those that I just boil it down to like 3 instead of like having 10. And it seems for me like maybe one of her 3 is like intelligence. Like he needs to be very intellectually stimulating. So now that you know that, you can move on and find someone who ticks that box, and maybe 1 or 2 others. And there we go.
I just think when two people are like very much into each other and like you're super into it, you're not gonna really have to. This is hypocritical because it took me like a year and a half to actually like figure out if I liked my boyfriend or not before we were dating. Like I didn't, not a year and a half into the relationship.
Yeah.
But I think like once you go on a date with somebody, like a couple of dates or whatever, I think women especially, actually we were just talking about this based on this new Netflix show, Dating Around or whatever. And like women know, like I know, I know 10 minutes into the date if I'm into you. But also like I'll know after the first date if like I think women are much less inclined to give a guy a second date, like unless it's like, not to be a bitch, but like pity date or being like, okay, like sure, I'll give you another chance. But like usually so like the idea that that like this could have gone on for like this long, like you'll know right off the bat. Like the same thing, like if a guy's smart, all of these things that you're going to know based on how you feel with that person when you go on a date with them. Like you don't like writing a pro con list or being like, well, he has these things, but he doesn't have these things. Like you're going to know in the date. Like, are you nice? Are you smart? Am I intellectually stimulated? Because also like, it doesn't matter where he went to college. It doesn't matter any of these other things that can attribute to like, oh, like someone who's smart.
Right.
But like, you're going to know on the date. Like, how do I feel? Like, is my brain turned on? Is like my lady bits turned on?
Exactly.
And I think if it doesn't happen that way, I think the only way that like sexual attraction can build from anything else is usually with friendship. Like I don't think you date somebody based on being like, well, like hopefully one of these days I'll think you're hot. Like I think that builds more with friendship, and then you're like, oh, now I'm into you in this way. But yeah, I think you just gotta move on, find another one.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you got a sexy accent, use it.
Yeah. Although I'm sure where she is, there's a lot of sexy accents.
Oh, yes. True.
It's not accents for them. It's just how they talk.
It's just how they talk.
I guarantee you a ton of like pretty like subpar American guys. There's a lot here, and they would love it. Maybe there's a couple good ones. I don't know. They're probably good Canadian men. I feel like
for sure.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, that's where they go.
Yeah, that is Canada.
That's where they live.
And then the bad ones come here.
And then the bad.
No, I like Justin Bieber. Not as a person, I don't know, but I like that. I like that album. Okay,
what, the first one when he was 5?
Baby. I mean, first of all, Bop song, Bops. Also, my best friend's little sister found him on MySpace, like the same time Usher did. So, like, I've known about Justin Bieber for so fucking long. Like,
that is wild.
She literally was like, I feel like I should really like be able to like contribute to like his success, because she used to like comment on his videos and stuff, and like he would like it on MySpace
before he blew up.
Yeah. That's so funny. Her and Usher discovering talent on MySpace. So funny. Okay, on to the next.
Hi, Megan and guest and Melissa. I just wanted to say, first off, I've been watching you, Megan, since I was in like 8th grade. I'm a sophomore in college now, and I really appreciate like your YouTube channel and just you in general. Like, you've been a really huge role model for me. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. But now, like, to my problem. And sorry if I'm being quiet. I'm like in a dorm room and the walls are thin, and I like don't want to tell everybody my business. So, and it's like 12:30, so I think my roommates are asleep. But yeah, so I was like kind of talking to this guy. We like went on a date like 2 days ago, and I met him like through a friend. Like, he had like worked on a project with her, and she like set me up with him. But, like, she was showing me his Instagram, and, like, his ex was still on his Instagram. And I was kind of like, that's interesting. Like, there was, like, a picture of him, like, kissing her on the cheek. But then, like, when my friend asked him, like, hey, like, I don't know if, like, you're single or whatever, but my friend thinks you're really cute. He was like, yeah, I'm single. And so then, like, when we went on a date, I asked him, and I was like, so, like, why is your ex still on your Instagram? Like, if you guys have broken up. And he was like, yeah, we're, like, very, like, on again, off again. And I was like, okay, well, like, I don't want to, like, get super involved with you and, like, commit to you if you guys are going to be, like, on again. Like, I know you're off right now, but if, like, in a week or two you're back on, like, that's not really fair to me. And he was like, yeah, okay. But, like, for me, and I know this is, like, a huge, like, we were on a break, friends reference, and I know I'll probably get a bunch of hate in the comments, but, like, in my opinion, like, if you're on a break, is that technically cheating? No. Is it hurtful to the other person? Absolutely. But is that cheating? No. And everybody has their own, like, opinions on that. And so we ended up hanging out yesterday, and, like, we ended up sleeping together. And, like, I don't regret it, but I also, like, don't know if that's just me, like, being like, oh, well, I can do whatever I want, and I don't know this girl, and, like,
you know, like, I don't know if, like, I'm in the wrong and I'm just, like, refusing to see it. So I would love to get your take on it and just your advice. Like, do you think I'm in the wrong for sleeping with him while they're, like, on their break or whatever? Like, it's just sex. Like, there's no feelings or anything. But I would just love to get your take on it. Thanks. Love you. Bye.
Interesting.
I really wish. I mean, I'm not mad that you started with that whole really nice thing, but this whole time I was like, I hope I'm not going to be mean to her. I hope I'm not going to be. I can't promise I'm not going to be. I want to say thank you for all of those nice things that you said. And
now I'm going to be a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, like, this is how, that's the whole thing. I'm like, this is how I would talk to my friends about any of the situation.
Yeah, it's just being
honest. I think, like, right off the bat, like you purely based on like your tone rising, despite you being like, I need to be quiet. Like, you adamantly really don't want to believe that you did anything wrong. And you, even when you're like, it's not cheating, it's not like that, like you clearly feel guilty and you really don't want to be in the wrong here. I would say, I think like in general, the issue is, we need to hold everybody accountable to things. But when you don't know this girl or anything like that, from the very beginning, like when you see someone with a girlfriend on their Instagram and stuff like that, and your friend says, my friend thinks you're cute. Why is your ex still on here? It's not a why is your ex still on here with an honest answer. It's being like, here is a temptation that I'm telling you. And then it's like, and here's this other thing. And it's like, oh yeah, fuck that other thing. What was that thing you're saying about that girl who thinks I'm hot? Like that there is like, you don't even know if you ever got like the real straight up answer. And you're saying you don't know this girl. So you don't know this girl. Do you owe her something? More than that, you don't know this girl. You don't really know if they're actually on a break.
Right.
And I think the most important thing, I think now especially, is being a stand-up woman for other women. That doesn't mean that like that he's not a shitty guy if like they weren't dating or anything like that. And it's also, my whole thing is like I think everyone should be upfront and honest, but I think if this didn't deter you, this just to me sounds kind of like a self-sabotage thing. Like that if you're going to go out with somebody who is like any of the things, like they're red flags, like his girlfriend is on his Instagram. He says that they're on again, off again. That makes you feel weird. You still go out with him. You go on the date with him. Then you go out with him again and you sleep with him. And you're like, it's just sex. That to me just sounds like that. Like it doesn't like you wouldn't do that.
She's making excuses.
Yeah, but it's like a self-sabotage. Like why do you want to, like, why are you putting yourself in that situation?
Right.
That like, and
I relate to it. I was like that for a very long time where I was like, so in denial about my feelings. Where I'd be like, oh, I could totally just have sex and not care about this guy or whatever. But it was always a lie. I would always be like heartbroken at the end of it. Yeah.
And I think like you also don't, the biggest thing there is like, it's messy. Like, why would you actively want to, like, knowing what you know, even if it's true or even like if it's not true, but even if it is, like, why would you want to get involved to something messy like that? And like, you're gonna like if it was, you went on a date, it was like, my friend thinks you're hot. It's not like, oh, I met this guy at a party and we hooked up. It was just sex. Like, you went on a date, like this was something that you told your friend about. You saw him on Instagram. Maybe it was like you just like you wanted to sleep with him and you wanted to hook up and that was it. But like that to me is just like, I personally, if I saw a girl there, that would make me be like, wow, this guy, like this is gross for this guy. Like, why is this guy cool with keeping this girl on his Instagram? He's treating her terribly. Yeah. Why would I want to, like, even if I don't have feelings for you, why do I want to reward you for that? Like, I think that's just kind of scummy on his part.
Definitely, he's the biggest
100%
scum factor in this.
And that's why I'm wondering, like, why would you, like,
he's probably really hot though.
Maybe
is my assumption.
Maybe, yeah. I just think like in general, I'm a huge like. I don't know. I'm like, I will take a lot of what people say at face value. If like someone says they're not mad at me and they're going to pout about it, I'm like, fine. Like, you're not mad at me. Cool.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to handhold you through something like that. But then if I see like, yeah, if I was in the situation and I saw this, it wouldn't even be like, oh, I like can't do this because of the girl or whatever. It's more like, this is messy. Like, I don't want to like jump into something like that seems messy. And like, I don't know, at the off chance that like he's lying. Like
true. I didn't think about the fact that he probably is lying.
Yeah.
I mean, my feeling's a little different on her feeling guilt. Like, Well, face value. It's like if someone says they're on a break and they're not in a relationship right now, like, all right, like, and I want to have sex with no emotional attachment, if that's genuinely what I want, then I would say that's
I'm
fine.
there with you too. Yeah. But the thing is, she does feel guilty, or else she wouldn't be calling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
that means there's more to the story.
Yes.
And I think that to me, that makes me think it's not just sex, because it isn't that, like, that is a totally rational way of thinking. And that's somebody who, and there's again, nothing, I don't think there's anything like wrong with that, but you looked him on Instagram, you saw that he had a girlfriend. Like, there are all these things that you questioned about, you asked about, like you like hashed this stuff out before, as opposed to being like, I'm gonna take it at face value. I'm not gonna look into it because like it's not my business. You looked into it. You like, if that's when you get to that point, I think like you kind of, if you're looking that far into it, you obviously care. If he's telling you care. And so I think that it doesn't make you like, I don't think that, I understand you feeling guilty, like all of that stuff. Like, I don't think it doesn't make you like a shitty person, but I think you need to figure out why you did it, because you looked into it and you knew you'd feel guilty, but you still did it. So like, what are you punishing yourself for? Like, what, like, that's not like, you can like sleep with whoever the fuck you want. It's not going to make you feel guilty and shitty afterwards. Like, that's not an empowering thing of being like, fuck this, I'm going to have sex with like a hot guy that I see. Like, it shouldn't end in feeling guilt. So I think that was your intention, because to me, it sounds like a self-sabotage. Like, this was like a punishment thing for you for something. And I don't know why, because I don't think you would have involved yourself in something that's like messy and potentially hurting somebody if you didn't. You knew the consequences of like how you might feel. It's not like you got any new information, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So I think that you need to kind of figure out why you did that, and like it doesn't make you like a bad person. Yeah. But I think there's two different mindsets you had. Like, you did the whole like sexual empowerment, I don't know this girl, and then you also at the same time you looked into this girl, so like you care. So I think you got to figure that out.
Yeah I totally agree.
Did you look at her Instagram too and see how he's on there as well?
Yeah,
true. Yeah. I mean, it could be that she like, maybe she's doing her own thing and she's boning a bunch of other dudes, but like, I don't know. It just seems like something you want to avoid if all you want is sex. Yeah. You could do that with any other guy.
Exactly.
You're in college, girl.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dicks around.
100%. You don't have to go on dates either. Like, you don't have to sit through dinner. Like, you don't
have to leave your room. You just go open an app. They'll come to you.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like Postmates on demand dick. Like, you don't need to like jump through these hoops, like all of that stuff. Like, just be like, when was the last time you were tested? Great. Cool. Like, take your pants off.
DTF.
Yeah. So, no, I think you're right. Like, in like the stalking the girls Instagram, all of that stuff. I think it's just, and also like my whole thing, I'm like, if you're on a break with somebody and your intention is to like hook up and all that stuff, you would archive posts of your significant other, because this would deter people. And he didn't. So then I also wonder, were they on a break and were they not sleeping with other people? Like,
I wonder.
Yeah, because I think that it's like the same with open relationships. Like, I think you should trust when someone says that they're in an open relationship, but if there's all these like things that make it seem like this feels off, I think you should go with your gut on that.
Totally.
And there's no way he's hot enough. Okay. Well, I hope you don't hate me, and I hope you continue listening to the podcast. And I would say this to one of my friends. So I would actually say some more fucked up shit to my friends.
It's just, you know,
and I care about you. Like, that's what you got to figure out in the situation.
It's hard. What's that called? That phrase? Tough love. It's tough love.
Yeah. Constant tough love.
Yeah.
It's time for a breakity break. We will be back after you guys listen to me talk about other stuff. Woohoo! This weather can be confusing for your body. You're bundled up in the cold, but after running around all day, you realize you've been sweating under your layers. Keep it fresh and clean this winter with coconut deodorant from Copari. Kopari's coconut deodorant is aluminum-free, vegan, and does not contain silicones, sulfates, parabens, GMOs, or baking soda. It's a cleaner option that works just as well. Kopari's coconut deodorant is formulated with plant-based actives like sage oil and coconut oil, so you stay fresh all day. It goes on smooth and doesn't leave behind a sticky white residue. Along with their original coconut scent, Copari offers a fragrance-free version of their deodorant, plus 2 brand new scents, Beach and Gardenia. With Copari subscription, deodorant is shipped to you as often as you choose, automatically, for free. And they also offer a money-back guarantee. Guys, they have been a friend of the podcast for a while now. And let me say, my armpits have never smelled better. First of all, I don't really think we talk enough about that gross wet residue that can happen under your armpits. Like, you know, sometimes when you have deodorants and then you like put your arms down too soon and then it kind of feels like they're going to stick together for the rest of your life. No, not anyone else? Okay, fine. That happens to me a good amount until I switched over to this. My armpits, it sounds weird, but like, you know, if you like do like if you were like at the running, like if you move your arms like that, it feels really nice. Hey, don't give me that look, Melissa. I'm not kidding you. So I really, 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 really love it. I also will say one of the things I love about it too is it doesn't leave that like that kind of like white residue, not only under my armpits, but like it doesn't get on my workout clothes. So for me, that's really important because I wear a lot of like dark black like sports bras and then suddenly we're like, oh, deodorant line. Not great. It smells so good. It's been like slightly chilly in Los Angeles. I know all of you who are dealing with real weather hate me, but the nice coconut smell just reminds me of the fact that I'm going on vacation to St. Martin in the spring. So I'm pretty excited. It's not a vacation. Someone's getting married. But I'm still excited, guys. I'm going to bring it with me. So, guys, you can go to koparibeauty.com/blame to make the safe switch today and save $5 off your first order when you subscribe. That's Kopari, Kopari, beauty.com/blame, koparibeauty.com/blame. Support for today's show comes from Green Chef. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable with plans to fit every kind of lifestyle, including paleo, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, Mediterranean, heart smart, lean and clean, keto, gluten-free, and omnivore. Enjoy clean ingredients that you can trust, seasonally sourced for peak freshness and delivered right to your door, and recipes that are quick and easy with step-by-step instructions, chef tips, and photos to guide you along. You can even switch up your meal plan whenever you're ready to try a new way to eat. Guys, I'm a huge fan of this. You know, I'm a big fan of cooking, but I'm also a really big fan of trying to get Mots to cook with me more, or also not have to take over. These pictures and the step-by-steps, they're not kidding when I say it's easy. I don't even have to like hover over his shoulder to be like, oh, please don't mess this up. Please don't burn this. Please don't do this. He already has someone doing that, but it's just like written on a piece of paper. So he doesn't get mad at me. It's like fantastic. So quick and easy. We get the paleo one because that's pretty much like the epitome of how I eat, which I think is also great because it's hard for me to find. I mean, it's hard for me to eat out at restaurants. That's also why I cook at home all the time. But this is like a nice way when I'm feeling like, I don't want to think of something or like any of that. It's already done for me. So I can just like force him to do it, or I can do it. And I can do it really on autopilot. I don't have to think. And one of our personal favorites was the fajita salad. Big fan. Big fan. Also like any Mexican food. Anything that, oh my God, just, I'm really hungry as we're recording this right now too. My stomach is actively grumbling. For $50 off your first box of Green Chef, go to greenchef.us/blame. That's greenchef.us/blame for $50 off your first box of Green Chef. Own iconic luxury items at unreal values with The RealReal, the leading reseller of authenticated luxury from top designers. Shop from designers like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Rolex, Cartier, and hundreds more at up to 90% off retail. New arrivals come in daily, and every single item is authenticated by The RealReal's team of experts. In fact, The RealReal employs over 100 brand authenticators, gemologists, horologists, and art curators from around the globe who inspect thousands of items each day to ensure that every item is 100% authentic. Shop and consign women and men's luxury fashion, as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home. Shop online, visit one of their stores in Soho or West Hollywood, or visit one of their luxury consignment offices in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. New customers receive an automatic $25 off at checkout.
So Meghan,
yeah,
and listeners, you guys know that I am a big Real Housewives fan.
Oh, we know.
So Real Housewives of Orange County, all of them wear these beautiful Chanel necklaces.
Did you get
that
one?
I love. So I was watching, I was like, there's no way I'd be able to afford that necklace. Yeah. So I was like, wait, we talk about The RealReal all the time.
Ooh.
So I went on the RealReal's website.
She's a little sick, guys.
I am sorry. I went on the website to see if they had any of these necklaces. They have a ton.
No way.
You know, might be. What do you think? How do you think I look with the pearl necklace? This has some C's on it.
You gotta send. Is it like very like Lauren Conrad-esque? Like Circuit of the Hills. Mm-hmm. I'm into that for you.
Thank you.
I mean, you wear heels every day now. I think pearls is the next step. Yeah. And then it's gonna be a 2-piece suit.
I used to wear suits. Oh no! Well,
no, Hillary. Like a skirt
when
suit.
I was in my sorority, when we had business meetings,
I want you to have like the pillbox hat or whatever. Very Jackie O.
Yes.
I'm into this for you.
Okay.
Let's get you some pearls, girl. If you guys want to shop in-store, online, or download the app and get 20% off select items, use the promo code REAL. That's the RealReal.com, promo code REAL for 20% off select items. Okay, guys, we are back from our break, and we are going to hop into the rest of the calls.
Hi, I'm 23 years old, and I recently got engaged. My fiance and I have been dating for a little over a year, and everything is pretty great. So going right into it, our sex life is great. The only issue, I don't really have an issue with it. Well, I don't know, but he hasn't gone down on me in a long time. So at the very beginning of our relationship, when we first started getting physical, he would always go down on me every single time. And he would always express to me that he loves doing it. That's like one of his favorite things to do. And he would rather me get off than him get off because he just loves doing it that much. And it turns him on so much. So just how much he's expressed that to me, it's just, I was like, oh, that's great because I love being eaten out, you know? So I was like, this is going to be great. But also going off of that, I don't really go down on, well, to begin with, I didn't really go down on him a lot. And I was kind of hypocritical, like, now saying this, but since he hasn't been going down on me, I thought maybe that's maybe me not going down on him a lot. That's why he hasn't been doing that. I hope that makes sense. I'm, like, really jumbled. But, so, I don't know. I thought maybe that's the reason why, so I've been trying to go down on him more. Like, I've been doing it every single time, and, like, it's been a while since he's gone down on me. So, I don't know. And it doesn't have to be every single time we have sex. I just love it so much. So, I don't know. And I know I, like, need to have a conversation with him. Like, communication is key. I just don't know how to start that conversation. So, that's why I'm asking you guys. So, I really appreciate your help. Thanks.
Wow.
Wow.
I totally get where she's coming from.
Oh my God, I 100% get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
I am saying it now, so I don't do it so everyone holds me accountable. I'm not going to talk about how young you are, and I'm not going to talk about the fact that you're getting married a year into this.
Yeah.
After I say communication is so key, especially if you're going to get married, and it's understandable having this conversation a year into a relationship. I would probably feel a little awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that if you guys want to get married young after only having been dating for like a year and some time, you need to like speed up the comfortability with each other because you're just going to get more tied up in that. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Totally.
First and foremost. Wow.
I don't know if anybody like, I'm the person who wrote that Vice article about how I don't suck dick.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh. Stop it. Oh my God. I had no idea.
I totally get where she's coming from.
Oh my God. You start. Take this away.
I myself am not a big fan of sucking dick, and I get it. And a lot of the reasons, you know, when I first wrote that article, it came from a place of anger too, because men were not eating me out. I was like never getting eaten out, but it was always anticipated that I would suck dick every time I would.
So men get to get off twice, women don't get to get off at all.
Exactly. And I think now we're talking more about it, so it's a little different, but I felt back then there wasn't a lot of discussion about needing men to reciprocate oral sex. And especially, I think there wasn't a lot of, communication about the fact that, you know, I don't think a lot of men knew that, or even today know that, you can't achieve orgasm. Most women don't achieve orgasm from penetration.
It's like more than 80% of women need something additional.
There needs to be like extra clitoral stimulation. And my suggestion, maybe going that route of explaining to him that, your lack of eating me out these days is affecting the sex overall.
Yeah, because it's all sex.
That's
the thing that like I fucking hate. As somebody opposite, love giving blowjobs. I'm like all about, I mean like not to like randoms, but like I'm a fan. I'm also a fan because like, when you get told you're like good at something, it's like, oh, it's great. Like I hate dodgeball. I've been told I'm bad at dodgeball. Fuck that. Fuck dodgeball. I'm never doing that again. But like, also this could be like a manipulation thing of like ex-boyfriends and being like, you are so good. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Leo. Keep telling me how great I am. I'll do it again. Give me compliments and attention. But I would say like, I really hate the idea that that's a tit for tat kind of thing. Like a blowjob and like eating a girl out, because penetrative sex, like the men are going to, or like they're going to come. But women aren't, that's not 100% guaranteed. Not that's 100% guaranteed that a guy is, but like it's way more like that's pretty much a given. I used air quotes for audio listeners, versus women where it's like no. So the idea to me that's like well, I didn't go down on him. So like, therefore
they're not equal.
They're not equal at all, because all of it is sex and like, not that the purpose of sex is not like to achieve orgasm necessarily. Depends on what you're going into it, like if that's what you want or not what you want. But like the idea that he would need to then get off twice so you can kind of get off once. I will say again, because of the communication, like a year and you're feeling uncomfortable talking about this, have you perchance also maybe been alluding to the fact that you are coming during penetrative sex? So does he think that like this is like, we're solid, we're good? And also I wonder, was he going down on you before you guys had sex? Like before you had penetrative sex, and then you were you were achieving orgasm, and then you were having sex, and you're so much more sensitive down there after all of that, and like you're just enjoying it, and you're more vocal, and is now he thinking like, oh, like we don't need to do both. I don't think it's a malicious thing. I think that he's assuming you guys are both getting to the same place.
That makes a lot of sense.
And in the way of like, if you from the right off the bat weren't like giving him blowjobs and all that stuff, if that wasn't a conversation between you guys and him saying that he wanted that more, then I don't think it's that important to him. I don't think like you giving him more blowjobs means like, if that's some fucking weird passive aggressive shit, if it's like, I'm gonna stop going down until you suck my dick, but I'm not gonna tell you that. Like the fuck? So I don't think that's what that is. And like men will even say like the sensation of like getting a blowjob versus having sex like is totally different, but like they do achieve the same kind of end result. And so maybe for him, he thinks like, it's the same kind of thing, but like she's still achieving the same end result.
Totally. Yeah.
And maybe you are, like maybe sometimes you are, but like this isn't, I don't know. I'm also a huge thing of like when you start a relationship and there's kind of like an expectation and a standard and how someone presents themselves and like what they're into and like how you guys act around each other, and then they change that. It's like, no, I didn't sign up for that. Like I wouldn't have gone on a second date with that. Like this has been, not that he's like catfishing you with like I go down all the time.
Right.
But I think, well, I guess our question is how she starts the conversation. Yeah. I mean, she's how old? 22? 23. That's okay.
I mean, it's like you're getting married.
Yeah.
Like this shouldn't. I mean, I'm being too judgmental.
I know. Like, I'm like, you shouldn't call a podcast to ask how to have a conversation with your husband, like your fiance. But
it should be easier.
Yeah. But I think if you're feeling uncomfortable, I think you just need to like go into that, like just sit in that uncomfortability and like
leave your phone out and text your friend.
Oh wait, I was also gonna say
say that he's not eating me up.
We are full circle. This is the advice that I feel like I've given on the podcast before about like guys who weren't like great at it or whatever. There's this book called She Comes First. It's fantastic. It's great. There's papaya on the cover, very sexual. We've talked about it on the podcast a lot. I feel like we should have like a shot shop on the website where it's like shop the things we talk about. It's like vibrators and like this book. But my friends and I, like I've said this story so many times. We've passed this book around often. Like when we've all read it, like all the my girlfriends have read it, all of my guy friends have read it. And most of my guy friends, like I was never like, here, you should read this. But they saw me reading it, left it on the table when I went to like set or something. And then I come back and they're reading it. Like it's like an enticing cover.
Right.
When I read it, I left it on my bedside table. The next night I came home, my boyfriend was almost done with it. And I was like,
wow.
did you just grab it? He was like, I mean, I saw the cover and I was like, I feel like I should read this. So I think that's like a subtle way to do it. But that's always my advice for someone who's like in a relationship. But I think that you shouldn't take the easy way out. I think you need to have this conversation because you're going to have to do it at some point. And this is going to be a way easier conversation than some other awkward confrontation communication situations. So yeah. And you gotta know if he's like, just like over it before you get married. Cause like
was that all a lie?
Yeah. Was he just doing that to get a ring on your finger? And then he's like, never doing it again. Like, that's fucked up. That's me. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like from the start, he was like down to not get his dick sucked that much.
Yeah. Cause he didn't bring that up. But I think you can also say in the conversation of being like, hey, I feel awkward about this, but because we're engaged and we're gonna get married, we have to have really open communication skills. I really loved how much you went down on me when we first started dating, and also like it was like hot to me how much you liked it. And now that that's kind of stopped, I've been feeling like wondering if that was like, did you actually really like it, or like is there something going on? And I've been trying to go down on you more. I didn't know if you felt uncomfortable asking for more blowjobs, and I know I never really did that because it's not like my favorite thing. But I just wanted like, let's open the line of communication with what we are expecting in this relationship, and this is how I get off during sex, and I don't want to. Yeah,
totally.
And Agreed. I think you just have to like really lay it all out there and say everything, and don't like hold back because it's awkward. Like
you're getting married.
Yeah,
like
if you're gonna have kids, things. He's gonna look at your like a child potentially coming out of like a bloody child coming out of your like vagina. Like there are so many other things that like like you know, like you might fart during sex. Like you know, like I mean, you will all the time over the course of your entire life. Like you might get your period. Like you might like there's other things that
there's gonna be more.
Yeah, and other non-sexual things that are gonna be terrible. So you just gotta learn how to communicate now.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do it. please.
It's I mean, it's sad, but like for me, it was something that really just came with time and getting older.
Oh, totally.
And when I was in my early 20s, I couldn't speak my mind at all with any of the guys that I was dating, no matter how like comfortable I felt around them, just because we have this internalized sort of fear of appearing like fussy, or like we have this fear of like seeming too picky or too uptight, because we're so societally conditioned to
not take up space.
Exactly. And so you know, in those ways, I can relate to, even though this is someone you're going to marry, you still feel that little thing inside you that's like, no, don't make a big deal out of it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal to talk about it. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be either. And I was the exact same way. Like I didn't like orgasm during sex with a partner until my current boyfriend, when I was like in my, and like that was not the first person I had sex with. And like I definitely like faked that kind of stuff. And also like guys didn't follow up and being like, hey, feel like you're not like, guys were kind of like, cool, you're probably faking it. I'm like, I'm fine with that. Like, if you're fine with that. So I think like it does, like you're exactly right. It does come with age. And I would say also, my boyfriend and I started dating when oh God, how old? 22. I was 22. And I wouldn't have felt comfortable if we had this conversation. Like we didn't, I wouldn't have felt comfortable for probably a year. Like, and that's like, now we have all those conversations and stuff like that. But you just have to like, if this is what you want, you have to speed up the process, because I'm exactly the same way. Like it took me years to feel comfortable saying what I wanted and all that stuff. But
and I think it helps. We are talking about it more on a societal, cultural level right now. When I'm old, I'm not that old, but I feel like I'm older than you. For when I was in my early 20s, at least in my personal bubble, in my circle, I felt like nobody was discussing this.
No,
you know?
totally.
I don't know on a wider culture. That's why when I said earlier, like in my personal life, I felt like it wasn't a thing being discussed.
When did you write the article?
I think like in 2014 or 2015, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. But I was like 25 or something like that at the time. And that's when things just started clicking.
Yeah.
And finally people were like kind of, in my world at least, starting to talk about it more. And I think now that I'm seeing it more everywhere where there's like shirts like eat a woman out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps so much in talking about these things and bringing it up when you're younger and you have that like internalized sort of fear of talking about these things. Just the fact that in a cultural sense we're talking about it a lot more. I think that should help.
Well, yeah, and I also didn't know, like, as like when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, I should be coming from penetrative sex. Like,
right.
These are the movies that we watch. These are things like because like even me as a woman, I wasn't able to like advocate for what I wanted because I didn't know what I wanted because I didn't understand because no one talked about it. So I think that's also like you're already steps ahead of knowing what you like and what you want and all of that. And I also don't think it necessarily makes him like a bad person. I think he's just like ignorant in like knowing that. Like there was this BuzzFeed article about women being like, it was like, guys, everybody like, or like girls, like everyone ask your boyfriend to like or like what's like the weirdest sexual like misconception your boyfriend has, and so many of them that was like, oh, like that girls just have one hole and everything comes out of one hole. And I was like, these are fully grown adult men who think this thing in like 2019, and it's like they don't know. So you have to give him the opportunity because he's probably gonna feel like, holy shit, like I am such an idiot.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, half the
guys, he wants to get married. He seems like he's a decent guy. Like it could just be pure like I didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. Well, best of luck. I really thinking positive thoughts for you and your
Please
vagina.
call us back.
I want to know. I hope so.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I'm curious what the conversation's gonna be like from his end too. Okay. You could listen both call us back now. That's too far. Too uncomfortable for her? Maybe?
Have like a live little therapy session.
Yeah. Hey guys. Okay, guys, don't blame them. This is where listeners call in with their advice on previous episodes or previous calls, right? Mm-hmm. I've been trying to find the right words to use to describe it. I'm like, previous calling listener, right?
Listeners calling to give their own advice on previous calls.
Yes. Wow. It's like a lot of the same words over and over again, just slightly different.
It made sense to me. If that helps.
Cool. I'm glad. So what's this for?
This is from episode 311. It was an episode that you and I did together. And the original caller, she had we actually got the original caller actually sent us messages about this, but the original caller, her fiance had been ghosting her for weeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Months too.
Yeah, months. Yeah. At the time of the call, it had been like a couple weeks, but her fiance has like ghosted her for months, and his parents are racist, and it's just like
he won't tell them that they're like getting married.
Yeah,
because they're dating.
Because he didn't want to get cut off.
Yeah, they don't live together, but he would like disappear and like go be unresponsive for like months at a time.
Yeah. So this is somebody calling in with similar experience. It's not as bad, but like similar. Well, actually, it might be worse.
It's not as bad, but it might be worse.
Hi, Megan. I am calling back for advice to give advice about episode number 61. I want to talk about the caller whose fiance lives in a different state, and he goes like 5 days or several weeks without contacting her. So I was in a long distance relationship for about a year, so not as long as her, but the last like 6 months or so, my ex did the exact same thing, and then he would gaslight me and he would tell me how needy I was, and all this stuff, and it was awful. And then when I tried to bring up things that I was concerned about him not talking to me, he would tell me it was just my anxiety making me see things that weren't there, and I was too needy, and that's why I needed to talk to him all the time, when in reality he just wasn't talking to me for, like I said, like weeks at a time. So I just want to reiterate for this girl that even though I can totally see why, because I've been through it, and leaving him was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. I he caused so much anxiety in my life, and the gaslighting caused so many issues with my head. So I know this is going to sound easy, but she's got to get out of there. I mean, it's not a relationship. I was constantly worried about what he was getting into or what he was doing. And if he was hurt, I didn't understand if I did something. It was just this complete mind fuck, and it never really ended. And then I was talking on Instagram one night, like 3 months later. He has a child, so there's that. I mean, the baby looks pretty young, so it was definitely happened while we were together, which is a lot to take in. But now I can laugh about it, sort of. So I would suggest highly to get out of there. I just got so annoyed hearing it, because if my little sister came to me and described what this girl was describing, I would get so mad, because it sounds exactly like what I went through with the ignoring, and my heart goes out to her because I know how hard it is, and I love her, and I know it's going to be hard, but you will feel so much better if you get out of this. And
I mean, it cut off, but we got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Can we tell that?
Yeah. Because she messaged us and didn't call.
Great.
So, yeah.
So in the original call, or original our advice, so we had said on the call being like, DM us on Instagram, like give us his info. We'll find out what it all is and all that stuff. Which I think she didn't really want to find out all of it. She DM'd us and she was like, yeah, we broke up. Like, you're right. Like, he's my ex-fiance. Like, now this all sucks and stuff. But yeah, so she's thankfully we can update that she's no longer with him.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, I think God, people are just fucking insane.
Right.
Like not these girls, not at all. Like it's these guys are just it's just
how are they so good at being so manipulative? I don't get it.
Insane. I mean, I think it's like a whole like systematic thing of like how women are used to being like treated in that kind of way. And also that like you don't see, like even when you see like when you think about like when you in romantic comedies, when like the girl starts out with one guy and you're like, oh well, that's not going to be the good guy or whatever. That guy who's not good is either cheated on her or he is like money hungry or something like that. But it's never manipulative. Like that's the part that I like drives me crazy. I'm like, show her boyfriend gaslighting her and her realizing that, because like you're showing these things that are like so obvious and so clear that it's like, oh, he cheated. This is like a line that everybody watching this is like, yes, that is good. Yes, that is bad. But I really wish that, because I think that's how you fall into that kind of stuff.
Just like, and I don't think a lot of guys even realize they're doing it. No. It's not something that they're consciously like, I'm going to gaslight her right now. But it's very like just downplaying emotions and just saying like, oh, you're being paranoid or something like that. It's just something as subtle as that is like, it's gaslighting. Yeah. It's really just not taking accountability and trying to make a woman feel like there must be something wrong with her to have these thoughts and these feelings. And it's
immediately someone trying to save their own ass.
Yeah.
And like, I think the issue is like, it's a habit and something that comes that like guys who gaslight, the first person they gaslight's not their girlfriend. The first person that they lie to and like save their ass is their parents. And then it's their teachers. And then it's all of these it's like work. It's all of these other things. And then you project that kind of like, I need to protect my own ass. And then you're in a relationship and suddenly it's like, no, that's not where you can kind of like get away with stuff. And that's like where I think it's just like this very, I think a lot of guys, like there's some really terrible, shitty guys, but I think there's a lot of people who don't even realize that like you're doing that. Right. Like it's an accountability thing that I think is from like birth of being like, you got to figure this out early.
Yeah. I mean, which almost makes it worse.
Oh no, 100%. Because it's like, that's like something ingrained in you. But that's so fucking insane. I'm so glad you're also out of that situation. And I'm not that I'm glad that he has a baby, but like because I said it in the first call, I'm happy that like there's a part I was right that someone had a baby.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that this other guy doesn't have another family either.
It's either another family or he's like a serial killer. Yeah, he's either Ted Bundy or
Al Bundy.
He has a family.
That might be too old of a reference for us.
That was good.
I loved it.
God. Fucking insane. Okay, well, that's our episode, guys. Thank you so much for being on. You were so great on this. Plug your podcast. Tell people where they can find you on the internet, too.
V Single Podcast on Instagram. We're on iTunes, all that stuff. And I'm at Just About Glad on the socials. Or I don't know where to look.
So many cameras.
Okay. At Just About Glad, Twitter, Instagram. There we go.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna read because I read that article about blowjob. I need to reread it now.
Oh, it was a long time ago. I mean, I would rewrite it now, but
we'll put it in the
I'm
show
just
notes.
curious. I'm so curious though, because like I'm curious what my mind, like I wonder, because I don't remember what I thought of it when I read it then and like versus when I read it now, because I agree, I like very much agree with you in the sense of like I also would never be giving out blowjobs left and right if like guys weren't going down. I mean, not giving out blowjobs left and right. Not that, that's not what I mean.
She's like
rando,
blowjob.
That's the thing. It's like that. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I love a blowjob. Like if I wasn't also getting, you know.
I mean, I wrote it very young and from a place of like anger. So I definitely regret some of the ways that I phrased things. But overall, I think my sentiment is still the same. Where it's like I'm sick of feeling like embarrassed or like ashamed to not be a big fan of sucking dick.
Yeah.
Like,
no, there's nothing. That's the thing. Like
and I still make dudes come, so it's not like
yeah.
You know.
I'm a firm. Like everybody's got their. Everyone also has their deal breakers. Like if it's someone's deal breaker, there's a perfect sexual partner match. There's multiple for people out there, everywhere, all that stuff. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening. If you guys want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Oh, international listeners, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. I forgot about you in the beginning of the video. But if you guys want to leave us a voice memo, just record it on your phone and then email it to us at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, don't blah meme pod, which I spelled wrong the last time. And I did meme, like too many me's.
Because you did don't blame me meme pod instead of don't blah meme pod.
Yeah, I did don't blame meme pod. Don't blah meme pod.
Yeah.
And our website, don'tblameme.show. Figure out where you want to listen. You can watch on YouTube if you're listening to this on iTunes or anything like that. And then if you are watching on YouTube, go listen to the audio version. Listen to it twice. Close your eyes.
Yeah. And we are on Spotify. I know a lot of people keep saying, why aren't you on Spotify? But we are.
Guys,
we
you just gotta look shit up.
Yeah. It's all on the website. Every link to wherever we are is on our website.
And also Google. Google's your friend. Do you know what I Googled last night? I Googled, I found out all of the people from that dating show. Figured out all of their Instagram handles. I Googled that. What else did I Google? I Googled how old somebody was. I Googled when Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift dated. Like, what? These are the things you gotta
remember
Google.
that.
I didn't remember. I completely forgot about it too. And so I was like, when did they date? So then I Googled it. You don't have to comment on Jake Gyllenhaal's Instagram. Hey, when did you date Taylor Swift? Gotta use Google, guys. I'm a huge fan of it. Really good.
I love the idea of Jake Gyllenhaal responding to
that. Hey, technically, I mean, we hadn't like defined the relationship for a while. So like, it depends on how long you want to say. It's a little gray area. And if you want to follow Melissa and I, our socials are listed down below as always. And we will see you guys next week. Goodbye. Own iconic luxury items at unreal values with the RealReal, the leading reseller of authenticated luxury from top designers at up to 90% off retail. Every item is authenticated by the RealReal's team of experts, and new arrivals come in daily. New customers receive an automatic $25 off at checkout. Shop in-store, online, or download the app and get 20% off select items with the promo code REAL. TheRealReal.com, promo code REAL. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. Production assistance by Julie Carley, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.